Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Today I bring to you the best FULGUR ANJANATH range builds, the Vital Thunder meta, and this video showcases builds for the new FULGUR ANJANATH skill, Vital Thunder. It's going to focus on ranged weapons. Now I'll also showcase the budget builds you can use and analyze how they compare to the top builds. The only problem is with range there are other requirements that you need to meet in order for them to be fully powerful compared to melee weapons, and we're going to go over them in this video. Alright, first we're going to start off with the bow, and here's the bow's damage data comparison, as we compare all the data from the best FULGUR ANJANATH bow builds by running all the realistic possible combinations. Now, in order for a bow build to be good, you need a half focus 5. That's pretty much the standard across the board, with the best build having Vital Thunder 3 and Critical Element 2. As you see, build 2, circled by white here, is a classic Critical Element build, and build 3 is the signature Thunder Attack 4 build. Or not Thunder Attack. Yeah, you can use Thunder Attack 4, not 5, not 4. Because of all the flexibility you have with the bow, thanks to all the obnoxious amount of support Thunder has, the FULGUR ANJANATH bow, unfortunately, is not a super bow. So these builds will likely be standard when the Thunder finally gets a super bow. So because all of these are dated out, once we finally get a Thunder super bow, this will be likely the builds you will use because Vital Thunder is going to be the most recent and latest and greatest hits for Thunder Element. Alright, first off we have the Vital Thunder Critical Element build at number 1, as this build has the highest theoretical damage at 5,399, with having Vital Thunder 3 and Critical Element 2, with using the Regen Coil for that overpowered 3 levels of focus. Now here's the thing, usually I preach that unless you have a high enough value and a low crit is very dangerous, because with low crit that means your damage is going to be consistent. But because we make up for it here, Vital Thunder provides the high thunder boost for that value to where you can get away with a low critical hit ratio. So this thing can be, it still does a high enough damage to be consistent. So if you have high damage, that's why I prioritize, like, you know, crit and water attack, etc. When you have that high value, then you can go ahead, even if crit doesn't proc, you're going to still do a high enough amount of damage, and that's what we have here. For this build, you have Azarathos Helmet at grade 6, your FULGUR ANJANATH Mail at grade 6, your FULGUR ANJANATH Fan Braces at grade 6, the Regen Coil at grade 8, and the Silverathos Greaves at grade 8. In addition, make sure you have your FULGUR ANJANATH bow as high as you can get it, preferably grade 10 or higher. Next up, we have the classic Critical Element build at number 2, with the build having 8% less than the highest build as far as theoretical damage here. This is the classic Critical Element 3 build. It has 4 from the 1 point that the weapon provides. When you have your FULGUR ANJANATH bow at grade 8, you get 1 extra point of Critical Element. And this would be a good set to invest into if you can't build the highest, as it's flexible for all crit bows. So, if you can't build the highest one, which Vital Thunder is actually easier than this one because of all the stuff you need to build this one, but if you have this classic one like I did when it first came out, it's still good to invest in. For this, if you do not want Vital Thunder, you have the FULGUR ANJANATH bow at grade 10 or as high as you can get it, the Silverathos Helmet at grade 8, the Nightshade Paluma Mail at grade 8, Azarathos Fan Braces at grade 6, Regen Coil at grade 8, and the Silverathos Greaves at grade 8. And last but not least, we have the Thunder Attack build at number 3, with 17% less overall damage than the highest build. This is the signature Thunder Attack 5. Like I mentioned before, the budget build, or the beginning up to where you like go to the end, or you're probably going to have this before you have anything that's crazy, is your typical Elemental Attack 5. In this case, we're going for Thunder Attack 5. If your FULGUR weapons aren't at grade 10 or maxed out, this build is solid. So this is how it works. If your weapon's not maxed out, etc., then you're actually going to see Thunder Attack taking over a lot of the other builds just because your value isn't high enough. That's the thing. So this is why you want to invest in Elemental Attack 5 builds before you go to all these super great builds. So, you know, things that nobody else ever tells you because they don't actually do the research. They just put stuff in front of you and tell you it's good without the reading behind it or doing their homework. But if you're a beginner and you're using this, you've done your homework, and you need your FULGUR ANJANATH bow as high as you can get it, the Sisiaku Helmet at grade 6, the Kezu Mail at grade 6, Arzuros Fan Braces at grade 6, Regen Coil at grade 8, and the Zinogre Greaves at grade 6. Next up, we have the Light Bowgun damage data comparison. So we're the bow, now we're out to Light Bowgun, as we compare all the best FULGUR ANJANATH Light Bowgun builds by running all the, again, possible realistic combinations. The thing about Light Bowguns, you need reload speed and recoil down 3. At least for this one. And the best build has Vital Thunder 3 and reload speed and recoil down 3. Sadly, you can't go any lower. If you look at the very bottom one, I try to lower recoil down and reload speed to 2. the damage drop off is too much. For light bowguns, or at least most of them, you need these maxed out. And unfortunately, if you're going to go budget build wise, you can only go to Thunder Attack 4 due to needing reload speed and recoil down 3. Remember those limitations talked about in the beginning? This is part of the limitations, and unfortunately for light bowgun, there's a lot of them. Now this brings us to the best Vital Thunder Crin Flashstorm build, number 1 for the light bowgun with the highest theoretical damage at 4017. With Vital Thunder 3 and Crin Flashstorm 1 and reload speed and recoil down 3. Unfortunately, actually pretty fortunately, Fulgur light bowgun doesn't benefit from artillery, so you don't actually need the Basil Juice helmet at grade 8, which is pretty nice. The good thing is it does have reload speed 2 at grade 6. So, the top build for the light bowgun, you're going to need the Fulgur ANJANATH light bowgun at grade 10, or as high as you can get it, the Basil Juice helmet at grade 6, Fulgur ANJANATH mail at grade 6, Fulgur ANJANATH fan brace at grade 6, the Coral Puke coil at grade 6, and the Corinne Greaves at grade 8. Next up, we have the classic Thunder Attack build at number 2. 17% lower in terms of overall theoretical damage versus the top build, and has Thunder Attack 4. This was the OG Thunder Attack build, and it should be used by beginners / newer players, but it still works if your Fulgur weapon isn't a high grade. Again, Thunder Attack is going to be the standard up until your Fulgur weapon's at a high grade, even if you're going through critical ferocity and negative crit, like the Bowguns for Fulgur ANJANATH. Of course, you need your weapon as high as you can get grade 10 or higher. Sisiaku helmet at grade 6, Paluma mail at grade 6, Zinogre Vambrace at grade 6, the Coral Puke coil at grade 6, and the Azarathlos Greaves at grade 6 for this classic Thunder build. Next up, we have the Heavy Bowgun damage data comparison, comparing all the data from the best Fulgur ANJANATH Heavy Bowgun guilds, running all the possible realistic combinations. The thing is, the Heavy Bowgun only needs recoil down at level 1, but reload speed 3 is still the standard. That doesn't mean you have a lot of flexibility. That's a minimum 2 pieces in order for you to get the standard. The best build has Vital Thunder 3 and Corinne Flashstorm 1. Sadly, there really isn't a lot of flexibility with the Heavy Bowgun as its top build. It's the same thing with light bowgun because of the fact that they do need reload speed and recoil down. Here's a fun fact. Corinne Flashstorm 1 actually beats out a critical ferocity build at 2. The reason being is because of that flexibility. Even if you do pump on an extra level of critical ferocity, it's not worth it. As you see here per the data, critical ferocity isn't it, even though it is a negative crit weapon, so it is pretty dang weird. And this brings us to the best Fulgur ANJANATH Heavy Bowgun build. It's Vital Thunder Corinne Flashstorm build, with the highest theoretical damage at 4270, and has Vital Thunder 3 and Corinne Flashstorm 1. If you notice, and I'm going through it so fast, this is the same as the light bowgun build. Unfortunately, even though you have 2 extra levels of recoil down, the Flashstorm is just too good to pass up. You can't substitute anything else in here that would make it factually better. I've tried. There really isn't. And that's just sadly the limitations of bowguns. For this build, again, you'll need your Fulgur ANJANATH Heavy Bowgun at grade 10 or as high as you can get it, the Basil Juice helmet at grade 6, Fulgur ANJANATH mail at grade 6, Fulgur ANJANATH fan brace at grade 6, the Zinogre coil at grade 6, and the Corinne Greaves at grade 8. And last but not least, we have the Thunder Attack build at number 2 for the Heavy Bowgun. 17% lower in terms of overall theoretical damage versus the top build, with having Thunder Attack 5 and Burst 1. The thing is, the Heavy Bowgun only needs 1 level of recoil down, so we can slot another Thunder Attack in the place right here, which is why you get the full Thunder Attack and compared to the low Light Bowgun. And this build is ideal for beginners or those still upgrading to a high level. That's the great thing about the Heavy Bowgun. However, it's spread, so make sure, well, spread and pierce, so it has a good combination of close, up and personal, and stay the heck away from your monster. For this build, you need the Basil Juice helmet at grade 6, the Keizu mail at grade 6, Zinogre Vambrace at grade 6, Coral Puke coil at grade 6, and Zinogre Greaves at grade 6, as well as your Fulgur ANJANATH Heavy Bowgun as high as you can get it, preferably grade 10 or higher. Hopefully this video helps you decide what build to use for your Fulgur ANJANATH ranged weapons. If you're just starting out or you're a beginner, Thunder Attack is as high as you can go, is the best way to go. So just pump as much Thunder Attack as you can, along with Focus 5, Recoil down, and Reload Speed 3. That's just the limitations with bowguns and ranged weapons in general. You need all these other skills for them to be extremely powerful, and that's just the way it is. But please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. You can imagine it took a whole lot of time, but I make sure everything's thorough. I'm as transparent as possible with you because I want to make sure you build something that's factually good or can resource you for a long time, rather than just say, hey, trust me, bro, and then put a bunch of random stuff together and say, I have an idea for a build, but I'm really bad at building because I don't have homework to back anything up. I want to back things up here so y'all know exactly what the numbers look like. And unfortunately, ranged weapons, it's just not that great as far as flexibility, but you know what? It can still be very powerful. Good luck on your grinds, good luck on your Fulgur Anjanath event, etc. May all those drops be with you, and I will see y'all on the next video.